Live from our studios here at Cocoa in Accra, this is Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Kaloni. Our lead stories this hour. This evening, government comes under intense pressure as the minority gives it a 24-hour ultimatum to clear all locked-up health commodities from the port of Face the Wrath.
It is our expectation that within the next 24 hours, we must hear something positive with regards to the clearing of the containers containing the drugs from the port.
Details as the minority calls for an explanation to how an 80 million cedis allocation for counterpart funding was used.
What shocks me is that in the 2023 National Health Insurance Formula, an allocation of not less than 80 million Ghana cedis was made to that effect.
Also, cocoa production decline cost Ghana $500 million as reports emerge of Russian involvement in cross-border smuggling with Ghanaian collaborators.
We have some Russians there. When they get the cocoa, they go to the market, they can sell at $10,000. We have national wreckers in this country who are buying from the farmers.
Who are these nations? You know these nation wreckers who are...
We've been arresting them.
More as Cocoa Board blames severe weather conditions for the current state of cocoa farms. We'll interrogate these issues. Also, Chief Executive Officer of the Fund Gold dealership firm Men's Gold to either walk free or open defense on July 10 when he shows up in court.
We agree with the Office of the Attorney General that #1 ought to answer, open the defense and answer certain questions and explain the business model, because it's quite unfortunate that as customers, it appears we do not even understand the business model. He is the only person who understands it.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Joy News Prime. Now, the Ghana Cocoa Board has revealed a decrease in cocoa production in the first quarter of 2024 compared to last year, resulting in a fall in revenue by more than $500 million in the first quarter of 2024. But this evening, it is emerging some Russians working with their Ghanaian counterpart are buying cocoa beans from farmers and selling them on the black market. Chief Executive Officer at Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahinedu, said though there have been some arrests, the practice, if not permanently handled, will have dire consequences for the sector in the future. He spoke on the Super Morning Show.
Guinea, is it Guinea-Bissau or what? Sharing border of Cote d'Ivoire. We have some Russians there. And then in Togo. And they are buying, they want to buy the cocoa spot. They sell spot. They have nothing to lose. They don't spray, they don't buy chemicals for farmers. They are not providing any extension services for farmers, nothing. So they can afford to sell spots. When they get the cocoa, they go to the market, they can sell at $10,000.
And our farmers are selling to them?
It's not our farmers. We have, national wreckers in this country who are buying from the farmers. No farmer can smuggle more than 100 bags, not even 10, 20 bags across the border. No farmer. Because ordinarily, a farmer will have about 10 bags.
You know these nation wreckers who are...
We've been arresting them. Some have been imprisoned. And the minimum distance is 5 years. 5 years, but still they're there.
So this year you are making losses?
It's not from April to September.
So April to September?
April to September, that is when we are migrating, transitioning from the main crop to the last crop. The volumes are not that much.
Okay.
And we felt instead of letting our farmers suffer. Because again, the national interest versus public interest comes in. You have people coming to buy cocoa cheaply, $1,800 from September. And then you come to April, you are selling the cocoa at the same price. And these miscreants, they come in, buy the cocoa cheaply from the farmers, go and sell at very, very high prices across the border to, these black market people. They are black marketing cocoa. for them to go and then make money out of that. So if we said, no, let's adjust it.
Dr. Ofori-Atta also blamed extreme weather conditions for the low production being experienced in the country.
First, you have the structural problems. Climate change, of course, is number one. And then illegal mining. Then, of late, smuggling is also another factor. All these are affected. But what has really affected our production significantly this year, yes, our production is down this year, very, very down, can be attributed to what we call El Nino effect.
Which is?
El Nino. El Nino is extreme weather condition. It's extreme heat waves generated in the Pacific Ocean, and depending upon where it is blowing. If it is, moving across dry areas, it will bring dryness. If it is moving across, water bodies, it will bring wetness. And last year, unfortunately for us, whereas the Mediterranean, Spain and other places, we had a lot of wildfires, we were experiencing excessive rainfall. Excessive. And cocoa doesn't lack too much water. When there is too much rain and the soil is waterlogged, the root hairs cannot, extract nutrients.
Okay.
So we lost almost every flower last year. It's only by His grace that we've been able to see even some crop now.
Joining me in studio now is a senior member of our research desk here at Joy News, Kofi-Addo. Kofi, give us a breakdown of the production shortfall in the cocoa sector.
Also, the production shortfall will show you the graph very soon, but you see a significant drop in the production, where we've dropped from somewhere 1 million metric tons now to somewhere, let's say 500,000 tons.
Okay.
And this is because of galamsey activities. We also have smuggling and other activities, other factors like the El Nino disease that has caused us to lose a lot.
Okay.
But only smuggling took away 150,000 tons last year. So that tells you that if you look at it between Ghana and Ivory Coast, the gap keeps widening.
Okay.
Although all of us, we've lost significant portions of our production, they are still producing within the millions. We are falling below somewhere 600,000 tons.
Okay. So how has this actually impacted revenue from the cocoa sector?
I mean, if you look at the revenue or the figures this year from the Bank of Ghana Summary of Economic and Financial Data, you will see that that has really dropped. Let's go to the last slide to talk about even the drop in revenue. And if you compare this first quarter revenue to that of, just look at the periods from 2016 to 2024. This is the lowest in 9 years. Just a year ago, first quarter, we were getting somewhere around $1 billion from cocoa, just first quarter. Now you've dropped from 1 billion in the first quarter of 2023 to now a little, below 500,000, $500 million. That tells you that you've lost more than $500 million. Compare it to what you used to get. So the average has been around, somewhere $900 million. Now we are talking
there's
about
a huge drop
less
there.
than $500 million. That's a huge drop. In the span of 9 years, this is the lowest we've had in terms of the first quarter. And in cocoa, we get most of the revenue in the first quarter. So that tells you that if you're not getting most of the revenue in the first quarter, then the entire year,
we are not likely
we'll get less than $800 million for the entire year.
All right, thank you so much. Kofi is with our research desk, and he's been coming through with details as to why we are seeing the shortfall we just showed. How is this actually impacting the sector? Let's speak to Samson Nahin. He is with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Agri. Samson, we are grateful for your time here on Joy News Prime. What do you make of these figures?
Thank you, my brother, and good evening to your listeners. In the first place, Ghana Cocoa Board should admit that they have failed Ghanaians. Under the government, Nana-Addo, Ghana Cocoa, and for that matter, the cocoa sector, it collapsed. They invest cocoa of more than 900,000. That was 2017 cocoa season. Now, this year, they projected to buy 850,000 tons. That is for 2023-2024 cocoa season. We are about closing the main crop season by June ending. Now they are doing around 450,000 metric tons, less than half of what they targeted to purchase. Now, when you hear the CEO blaming it on smuggling, blaming it on climatic conditions, and so on and so forth, he's not telling you or explaining why the smuggling. Why? Because we share border with Côte d'Ivoire. And Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire, we all go to the international market to sell our cocoa. So if Côte d'Ivoire can pay so much to their farmers, how come Ghana government will not do the same to the extent that because of the difference between how much we pay to our farmers and how much Côte d'Ivoire government pays to its farmers, Ghanaian farmers always try to smuggle cocoa to Côte d'Ivoire.
Robo, let me also say, we are told that the Russians are actually collaborating with some Ghanaians to smuggle cocoa, as well as the extreme weather they talked about. What do you make of that, and what do we need to do as a long-term measure to curb this menace?
Look, at the moment, what we needed to do as government, and for that matter, the cocoa sector, is the fact that government should provide incentives to cocoa farmers. You remember when Andy was in government, we were providing free fertilizer to cocoa farmers. Now, one bag of cocoa fertilizer is cost around between 500 to 650 Ghana cedis. How many cocoa farmers can buy this fertilizer?
Okay.
Which is very much needed to ensure that they increase their production.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So incentive has a role to play in, curbing this particular menace. Thank you so much, Samson, for talking to us. Meanwhile, the minority in Parliament has given government 24 hours to clear all locked-up health commodities from the port. Hundreds of containers of medical supplies shipped to Ghana has been locked up at the port for over 2 years because government was unable to waive taxes on the goods. After clearing 14 of containers this year, government is unable to clear the remaining 185 containers due to demurrages. Civil society organizations on health have already declared an intention to protest over the delayed clearance on June 25. Addressing a press conference in Parliament on Wednesday, ranking member on the Health Committee, Kobina Minta Akando, says Ghana currently owes $33 million of the country's counterpart funding. He says government must explain how it spent an amount of 80 million cedis allocated on the NHIS formula to clear part of the debt.
I knew, and I've always known, that this government is irresponsible. But I didn't know this level of irresponsibility. This level of irresponsibility is unprecedented, to say the least. And it will shock you to know that even when Global Fund was shipping these commodities to Ghana, they added something for clearing. And per my calculation, they added not less than $2 million. And Ghana government gets back to them, and he tells them that, look, we have increased our port charges. And therefore, the money you have given us is not enough to clear these commodities from the port. Who does this? Who does this? And this services or grant has taken place since 2002. Till now, we have cycles, and we are now in our 7th cycle. And the 7th cycle alone, we are benefiting not less than $248 million and an additional $100 million US. Even the counterpart funding we are supposed to pay. And this counterpart funding, it is not money that must be paid to Global Fund. It is show me evidence of procurement. Whatever you need, 15% of the money I'm giving you. So the 15% of the 248, go and buy whatever you need as a country and come and show me the evidence, and I'll continue to give you whatever you need. And even with that counterpart funding, it's tug of war. As I speak to you now, we are owing in excess of $33 million US. And what shocks me is that in the 2023 National Health Insurance Formula, an allocation of not less than 80 million Ghana cedis was made to that effect. 80 million Ghana cedis was made, and I have in my hands a copy of the National Health Insurance Formula for 2023. So, I don't know. I'm simply confused about this whole matter.
Now, the minority has given government 24 hours to clear the goods or face their wrath.
With the greatest respect to the president and his vice president, this country is not for them. This country is governed by the taxpayers' money. And the taxpayers' money must be put to judicious use. And with immediate effect, the president and his vice must make sure that these drugs are cleared from the port to save lives in this country. Nothing, absolutely nothing can justify this incompetence. And to tell you the truth, I was part of the delegation to WHA, and it was an embarrassing scene. We were embarrassed. It came up in 3 side meetings. In all the meetings, we bowed our heads in shame. It's an international embarrassment. And therefore, Mr. President and your Vice President, at least the right to health care is enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. And you should not continue to disgrace Ghana like you continue to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is our expectation that within the next 24 hours, we must hear something positive with regards to the clearing of the containers containing the drugs from the port.
Let's now shift our attention to education, because this year's Basic Education Certificate Examination, BEC, and West African Senior High School Certificate Examination, WASSCE, is uncertain, as government has yet to pay over 300 million cedis owed West African Examinations Council, WAEC, as preparation costs. WAEC has consistently raised concerns over non-payment, making it difficult to engage service providers, including invigilators and examiners. Ranking member on the Parliament Education Committee, Peter Nocho Kotoi, breaks down the figures.
We still have some arrears of 2022 to be cleared, which is about 9,972,000 for the 2022 WASSCE, which is outstanding. Then again for 2023, before Friday, it was 56,515,000. They have paid 10 million. So remaining 46,515,000 Ghana cedis being owed to WAEC. As for 2024, government has not touched it at all, which is in the sum of 178 million. 342,000. That is what they are owing. So if you put that of WASSCE together, it is 224 million 857,000 total for WAEC, for WASE alone, 2022, 2023, and 2024. Now, if you come to BEC, for 2023, they have just 698,000 outstanding. 2024, the cost is 95 million 837. They have given them only 2.3 million. Now 93 million is outstanding. So if you put what is outstanding plus the 698,000 for 2023, there is an outstanding money of 94 million on the 2023 and 2024 BEC to be cleared.
According to Mr. Kotoi, WAEC is already losing experienced examiners due to the council's inability to pay for services provided.
What is happening is that they are losing seasoned examiners who moderate the questions, who prepare the marking scheme, and do a lot of things for them, because they are coming to do work for you, you are not paying them. So they don't want to do it again. So you see that they have to take on new examiners who are not experienced, and that is creating a problem for them. The rate at which they are losing seasoned examiners, if it is not stopped, WAEC will have a big challenge in delivering on a quality examination for us as a country. Because if the examiner does not understand the depth of the or the content of the answers or the questions, and he goes to mark anything, he will be subjective. Either he will undermark, let me use the word, undermark a candidate. You see, he will not give the candidate the deserved grade or mark. That is where we are going to have the challenge.
The ranking member has warned government failure to pay the over 300 million cedis debt in time could pose serious challenges to this year's BEC scheduled for next month.
The issue is that government or the Minister of Finance should not wait until we make noise before they release money for the conduct of the examination. Last year we had to do it. 2022 we had to do it. Do we need to do it again this year? So I was proposing to the chairman of the committee that we should invite the Minister for Finance, we should invite the Minister for Education, then we should invite the National Officer for WAEC, so that we sit down and then probably draw a roadmap and see how soon monies can be released to WAEC to enable them to conduct the examination, because the BEC is coming on next month, and they need to prepare financially with resources to carry out their mandate. So they need money. Then again, August, the WASE will also begin. And it's all about money. So our call is, let's meet these people, especially the one holding the purse, and see how they can release money to the WAEC. Because 224 million Ghana cedis that they are withholding from WAEC, I think can go a long way to alleviate their challenges.
It's Wednesday, and members of the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum were back on the street of Accra demanding payment of their funds from government. The members, mostly retirees, say government has shown no urgency in resolving their concerns despite several assurances. Kenneth Ejesi has more in the following report.
The Locked Up Investment Holders Forum have picketed the Finance Ministry again. They've kept to their promise of picketing the Finance Ministry every Wednesday until their locked up funds at 4 deposit-taking institutions are paid. They began from NDK Finance, one of the financial institutions that have failed to pay them their funds.
I've worked for 30 years. I'm on pension, and I've labored so much in Ghana here. I didn't go out there to labor. My expertise has made Ghana, putting Ghana on the world oil market. Okay? I've worked so hard. I've made investments against the future, because the future is always unknown. And you cannot say you are going to rely on your children for everything. you must also make yourself worthy of emulation in a society, in a family, in whatever you find yourself. And that is what some of us have worked, have toiled over the years to achieve. But the disappointment is too much.
Yes, we are here today and we'll be here next week and next week after until the government hears to our cry. Already we have seen some signs already that they are going to pay us. But just probably a rhetoric, political rhetoric. We will come here until we see demand of our payment.
Having worked for 35 years, in fact, all money paid me, I actually deposited it with the investment bank so that along the line, as and when I will need money, I just want to live a good life after retirement. So I worked hard and kept my money there. But since then, for the past 8 years, I haven't gotten anything. And it's impacting on my life seriously.
Let's speak to late convener of the group, Dr. Edo Ananientwi, for more on this. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. Were you able to see the finance minister or his deputy today?
Well, thank you. We didn't meet any of them. Two officials called us for a meeting, and that was the Director of Administration and the PRO of the ministry. And their simple message was that the minister is in town, the deputy minister is in town, all the other heads of departments are in town, but they have some workshop meeting outside the ministry.
Okay.
So I had gone for that workshop, and they have promised that when they are finishing the workshop today. I think it's a day's workshop. So when they are done with the workshop, they will arrange and call us to have that meeting with us. The meeting that has been talked of for a long time and hasn't been held.
All right, Doc. Do you see this as a deliberate attempt from the ministry not to at least meet you, engage you, and listen to your concerns?
Well, I take it that they are using the time to prepare their house well, to get what is convincing or what would be acceptable to tell us. So I take it that if you haven't been able to establish a position yet, then it is difficult for you to call people. I've been in administration before, so sometimes you do some of these things whilst you are trying to get a firm position that you can put forward to people like that. So maybe they are using the term to be talking and finding out what exactly they should tell us to enable us to accept it as a working plan that will be acceptable to all.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc. We are grateful. We'll keep our eyes on the story. Let's take you to court now when Nana Appiah-Mensah, popularly known as Nam1, with the CEO of the defunct gold dealership firm Men's Gold, appears in court on July 10 this year. He will either walk free or be forced to open his defense because the court would have determined that the offenses he has been charged with have been proven by the prosecution or not. Legal Affairs correspondent Latif Idrisu sat through proceedings and now reports.
Tuesday, when prosecution and defense lawyers appeared in court, together with the accused person and some of his victims, the lawyers engaged in a lengthy argument. They took turns to highlight their written submissions in open court about whether the accused person is innocent or he has questions to answer.
Lawyers for Nam1 had filed for no case after hearing from 9 witnesses called by the state in the ongoing trial where Nam1 is being accused of money laundering, inducements to invest, defrauding by false pretense, and also Nam1 of Men's Gold operated without the license from BOG to operate a deposit-taking institution, if you like. So these are some of the charges the Attorney General has leveled against Nana Appiah-Mensah You understand the suffering a lot of people who invested in his entity had to go through. Somewhere in court today, and they say they are unhappy with the conduct of someone they identified as a national security operative who they say has infiltrated their ranks and has been sharing information with lawyers for NAM1 in an attempt to derail their case with the Attorney General in court.
We agree with the Office of the Attorney General that NAM1 ought to answer, open the defense and answer certain questions and explain the business model, because it's quite unfortunate that as customers, it appears we do not even understand the business model. He is the only person who understands it, and that is quite weird. We are also not happy. There's a certain gentleman, we want to say it. You see, we are Ghanaians and we have the force behind us. He was with us in 2020. He pretended to be a customer, not knowing he works with the National Security Secretariat. Today he came to sit in court. We are serving notice. We know him. We have identified him. It is believed that he was one of the people who spoiled our case in 2020, that the government did not make the move to settle the customers. We are pleading with him. He should look upon the lives of people who have died. He should not present or make any false representation to the government. Where we've gotten to, we have gone very far. He always comes in to sit in and send false information to the people at the Ofori-Atta. We don't want that this year. In fact, this year, we have decided to vote because of our money. As customers, we have decided to vote because of our money. So far, more than 220 people have died, and we will never, ever entertain any misreporting and misrepresentation.
The case has since been adjourned to July 10 at 10 a.m. when the sitting judge is expected to pass a ruling on the application of no case that has been filed by lawyers for Nana Appiah-Mensah, popularly known as NAM1.
Nana Appiah-Mensah, aka NAM1, who is currently on a 500 million Ghana cedis bail with 4 sureties, has so far pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
Still watching the Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay. Welcome back. Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation. Election Headquarters for an informed electorate. The Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu has advised Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to openly acknowledge and address any potential shortcomings as he engages in political activities leading up to the December 7th polls. Speaking during a courtesy call by the MPP flag bearer, Otumfuo praised the Vice President's efforts in addressing pressing concerns affecting many Ghanaians daily. However, he emphasized the importance of humility and transparency in confronting limitations or mistakes given the complexities of governance. Nana Boakye-Adom has a wrap of the Vice President tour in the Ashanti region.
President and flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has concluded his 3-day tour in the Ashanti region. The tour began with an engagement with the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs and ends with an engagement with the Ashanti businessmen or the Ashanti Business Caucus. Well, the Vice President has been touting his achievement since he took office in 2017. On his last day during the tour in the Ashanti region, he had an audience with the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II. The Asantehene admonished the Vice President to admit the shortfalls of the current government during his campaign for Ghanaians to trust him with their votes in the December 7 polls.
Of us, they will church in Mwins and Panning Yamibuana Ghana, Siena, Yakwabadia. In so by Yamagana, Yaman. I want you to your son, my home. And the Moye, a party for a pinso, a pequia baby. And he or no war papa, no now so person, once we hear more natures, I would be an army at Tiasi. Omo cry, you knew of a cry, Chimney and Tiasi. New Hunus and Passe. So you knew what crowd they walk in there. Passy a boa, who bow being here. A Juma Moye. Sabi obi anwa munyina obi anu obetimi aye ekwan free empoano akosi pagada krokrada na waboa na Akufo-Addo amaye adrei eno de hunu di aka mu na kacha Ghana for say menso meto aso akodru say.
Let's take you live to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where my colleague Nana Boakye-Yadom is joining us from. Nana, you tell us which places the Vice President has visited and how has he been received by, party people? Okay, we're trying to reconnect the line to Nana Boakye, but I have been joined by Gideon Boako. He's the spokesperson for the NPP's flag bearer. He's joining us live on Zoom. Can you say whether the reception you received in the Ashanti region met the party's expectation? Kindly unmute so we can hear you, sir. Hello, Gideon. We seem to be having some challenge with his connection there, but we also have a political scientist, Alidu Sedu. He's a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. Dr. Bawumia has been visiting the NPP stronghold and interacting with key traditional authorities, including Otufo himself. How significant is this visit to his chances in December?
Thank you, and good evening to you and to your viewers. I think Ashanti region is very critical for the 2024 elections, and it has always been for all the elections we've held in this country. I think in the very limited voter registration exercise that we did, I think it was topping the list of regions that have recorded high number of registration. And it's also the stronghold of the MPP. The MPP's victory depends so much on the percentage of vote they are able to secure in the region. But also it's the same for the NDC. If the NDC is 6% of the votes in Ashanti region, the election will be for them to win. So it is very critical. In a stronghold that sitting president has been, government political party has been winning, it is very critical. And I think he has been able to manage it very well. I like the way the campaign was organized. He focused on the grassroots. He's brought the campaign to the doorstep of the ordinary voter, door to door. He has made identifiable groups that are very critical to the electoral processes in the region, artisans, queen mothers, traditional leaders, the ordinary voter. So I think by and large, the reception has been warm, and you expect to see something like that in a region that is your stronghold. So I think it was nothing short of the expectations of the party, I assume. And I think the organization has been very well. And I think the point that the Otumfuo Ashanti made is very critical. You see, what our politics have been lacking over the years is the element of accepting your shortfalls and taking decisive strategies to address them. And if Bawumia or any other political leader is able to do that, you are creating a comprehensive departure from our politics as usual, where people...
We seem to have some connection issue there, but let's go on to Gideon Boako. He's the spokesperson for the NPP's flag bearer. Great. Tell us if the reception you received in Kumasi actually met the party's expectations. Hello, Doc. If you can unmute, I believe we can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear now.
Yeah, it's quite obvious if you had followed the vice president's tour from the beginning, from Eastern region to coming to Ashanti region, you will realize that the support base that the vice president received in Ashanti region surpasses all the support that we have seen in any other region, and that is rightly so, because the Ashanti region still remains the stronghold of the NPP. If you bring the NPP to Ashanti region, you are at home. And so it's not surprising that thousands and thousands of people, came out to welcome the vice president, even at the point on the first day that he had not expected that people were going to walk him from his home to a meeting ground. So I think Ashanti region has been very fantastic. It has been virtually the same across the country. But of course, Ashanti region is Ashanti region when it comes to NPP politics. So the numbers we are seeing, it's something that are quite heartwarming.
All right. And Otumfuo has also been advising him regarding his shortcomings and all that. What do you make briefly about what Otumfuo has been saying on that?
Yeah, I think that's a wise counsel from a man who, embodies wisdom and is a repository of a lot of wisdom. But the good thing is that what Otumfuo told the vice president today is something that has been part of his presentation across. Anytime he meets people and talks to them, he admits the fact that, yes, President Akufo-Addo was given 8-year mandate, and the 8-year mandate came with a certain social contract between the party or the president and the people of Ghana. He can say as vice president that they've been able to deliver to a large extent part of the social contract that was signed, but there are other areas that the government falls short of, and that's a human institution. The efficiency cannot be 100%.
All right.
And so he makes those admissions and notes that given the second or the third opportunity, those areas will be looked at and make sure that we override our wrongs and shortcomings.
All right. Thank you so much. We are grateful for your time. You're still watching the Join Us Prime. We'll take a short break. We'll return with Showbiz. Please stay with us. Guess who is in studio? Becky Berks, you look good.
Here. Thank you so much.
What do we have?
Well, I have something from Grammys. You know, Grammys is coming to Ghana, not Ghana, so sorry, to Africa. Unfortunately, we're not part of, that, cycle, but we are, we can actually be part of the Grammys. And Lady Denta Amwate has been explaining this on Hit FM.
The countries that have signed up, and the countries that have signed up is Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, and Nigeria.
Which means Ghana is not. Okay, I didn't hear you mention Ghana.
No, I didn't mention Ghana. It's a little bit unfortunate, but the agreement that was supposed to be signed did not happen, and so at the moment, those are the 4 countries that will be able to host a Grammys. But it doesn't stop any artist from being nominated, but it's just for the hosting and other benefits that the country will have. At the moment, Ghana is not amongst that.
Why was Ghana not included in this? Because we stand very tall.
They were included. There was conversations. Oh, of course. I would have pushed for my country, but unfortunately, the agreement wasn't signed, and so Ghana is not part of. They're not going to be part of hosting or any Grammy centers or anything like that at the moment. If that changes in the next few weeks, maybe after this announcement, maybe it will encourage people to do something. But at the moment, as it stands,
could it be a matter of infrastructure? Could it be on the side of government or inadequate resources? What could be the reason that may be or could be the fall short of or the shortcoming of Ghana?
I think it's more of resources. There's a few things that the country will need to be part of this, which I can't say on the radio.
Right.
But so looking at everything that's happening right now in Ghana, it wasn't feasible.
Well, essentially, Carlos, Ghana cannot host Grammy activities, but definitely we can partake in the Grammy Awards. Hopefully, we have some of our people winning the Grammys. You know, we've had a couple of people doing that from Ghana. If I'm not sure I'm lying, but we're hoping that we get into the Grammy Awards some of the day, maybe someday. We will do that. But let's talk about stage performances. Let's talk about Ifia. Ifia is one of the greatest stage performers. She is a performer.
Super good.
So on Showbiz A to Z, she's been talking about what entails her stage performances. Well, so for those of you who are Riri fans, you might probably be getting new music.
Sure.
Hopefully this year. Thank you so much for having me,
Great,
Carlos.
great. Thank you so much. And that's all we have time for. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more story. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.